What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel, and today we're talking about how to get into survival, bushcraft, the outdoors, and the gears you're gonna need. Believe it or not, it's not that expensive. You can get away with a lot for a little bit of money. You just have to know what you need and where to look. The biggest thing when you are going out into the mountains is going to be knowledge. Luckily, we live in a time and a world that all the knowledge you could possibly need is at your fingertips on your cell phone. Just like this. I can Google edible plants, non-edible plants. I can have a catalog of screenshots and pictures and downloaded files for the trails I'm going to go on. You have a GPS on your phone. You can get Onyx Hunt, Onyx Maps. Go out and explore. Go out and get lost and find a way. That is my entire spiel on that. The best thing you can have is knowledge when you're out in the mountains. That is your most useful tool. Now, with that, I love knives, I love axes, I love bags, I love everything bushcraft gear related. Hell, I'm a gear review channel at this point. But the most essential piece of gear you can have on you, believe it or not, when you're trying to get out into the mountains and the wilderness and get away from all the technology and the craziness of the world, the best tool you can still have on you is your phone. This, you can download so many books and have so much knowledge at your fingertips. It's completely replaced everything. And it's at your fingertips. If you lose service, that's why you download. That's why you can have service. Now, to get down with that whole spiel and everything, let's get into the gear you actually need. Number one piece of gear I think everybody should be in the mountains with is a ferrocerium rod. This is how you're going to make your fires. If you don't know how to use it, there's a million videos on YouTube. I recommend you check out my videos, but there's a lot of other people who do it. But it's very simple. It's this hunk of steel. It's completely waterproof. All you need is a 90-degree piece of metal, piece of steel. They make scrapers for it. A lot of knives in the bushcraft design has a 90-degree spine on it, and you just flick it down and light your entire room on fire, right? A ferrocerium rod is the best thing you can get. They're cheap. I recommend these big ones. You can get them on Amazon or 50 other sites. Exotac makes some great ferro rods. Go out in the mountains. If you don't have $1 to your name, or maybe you only have $2 to your name, but you want to go out in the woods and you don't have a ferro rod, you haven't practiced with it, a Bic lighter. I never go anywhere without a Bic lighter. It's always in my pocket. It's a very easy source of fire. Now, it's not waterproof, but you can dry it out and get a fire going. It doesn't work that well in the cold, but you can warm it up. You can get a fire. It is a great fail-safe. It's easy to use. Gotta have fire. Secondly, the rule of 3. You can't live 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. You gotta have a water system. Anybody who's going out into the mountains and is not bringing water with them is asking for trouble, and we see it all the time. You'll see it in news reports and everything. People getting dehydrated, dying of dehydration, people finding themselves in survival situations and not having a water bottle. Luckily, we live in a world where a lot of people are carrying around their own water bottles, and my top water bottle to throw in the ring is the GeoPress. Now, this is the GeoPress Grail in titanium. This is the best option I think you can get. They also have plastic ones, but the reason I love this is you can purify and filter water So you fill up this cup with water, and it's got this nice little filter on the bottom. You just press it down, make sure your lid's open. You just press it down, pressurizes, so you just gotta force it down. But this will purify any running water, any still water that you find, and it'll keep you hydrated. Since it's titanium, it also has these handles so you can cook your food in here. You can also boil your water if you want to be extra safe. And what's really nice about this is you have an entire cantina system that you can cook and boil water in. It also has your water filter system, but you can also use it as an everyday water bottle. You just unscrew the top, fill it up like you would any other water bottle, drink from it. Super durable, super great. I have a full video on my channel about this. I recommend you go watch it. I recommend you go get one. The downside of this, the only downside about this water bottle is it's $200. The plastic ones are a little bit cheaper, but they're still a little bit spendy. If you don't have the money for it right now, I recommend you get a cheap water bottle from Walmart, 10, 15 bucks, and you get a Life straw. Life straws are nice, they're handy, they're lightweight, they're portable, they do the job. First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the respect, but before all that, you go down to Summit Watch Club and you pick up a G-Shock. Come join the G-Shock Mafia. Alright, in all seriousness, Summit Watch Club has been so good to the channel. We keep appreciating their support and their help with the channel at this time. Go check out the watches. They've got Seikos, Custos, balls, everything you can think of. My personal favorite, and you'll be seeing a lot of on the channel, are these G-Shock Casiokes. They are beautiful watches. Go check them out in the shop. Come join the G-Shock Mafia. It's for everybody. Everybody's welcome. They're durable. They're reliable. They're the best watches if you don't own a watch and you want to start out, or you're just looking for something to spice up your collection with. Might as well get a beautiful G-Shock. I mean, these things are elegant, extravagant, rugged, durable, beautiful, everything you could possibly want. Go check them out at Summit Watch Club in Heber City, right on Main Street, right next to Timber Knives. Great people over there. We really appreciate the support on the channel. Let's get back to the video. All right, next off is the knife. And if you have the money and you save up, the Falkneven S1X is going to be my biggest recommendation. This is the most versatile fixed blade I have found. If you find yourself in a self-defense situation, if you're bushcrafting, survival, food prep, processing game, this knife can handle it all. I've done extensive torture testing and edge retention testing. This knife is phenomenal. I have a full video on the channel. Go check it out. This is the knife I would pick, but it is a little more expensive, so you know I'm going to give you a budget option. And I have an entire video on budget knives if you'd like to go check that out. But the budget knife I would pick is the Mora knife. This thing, for the price, you really can't beat it. A Scandi grind blade, process food, process a little bit of wood, great ergonomics, super cheap. I think this thing's like 15 to 20 bucks. A Mora knife is the best way to go. Check out my budget knife video if that's you and you need a budget knife to just get out there in the mountains. I highly cannot recommend this enough, and you do need a knife. Whether people like to admit it or think about it, one of the oldest tools known to man is a cutting implement for processing game, making string, traps, snares, processing wood. A blade is what you need. Now, I also recommend if you're going out in the mountains, you need a shelter system. And as a bushcrafter, my go-to pick, even though it's heavy, is a 100% wool blanket. I have multiple wool blankets, and these things are antimicrobial, so you don't have to worry about them stinking up and getting a bunch of germs and everything. It's a natural fabric. It insulates really well and keeps the warmth in and keeps the moisture out. It can absorb something crazy, like I think it's like 60 to 90% of water per its weight. Absolutely insane. I've used only a wool blanket and a tarp for multiple night trips out in pretty cold temperatures that I probably should have been more prepared for, but I wanted to test myself and test my gear. Do I recommend everybody do that from the start? No, I do not. But when you get to that point, or if you're on a budget, a wool blanket is something I highly recommend. A sleeping bag is going to do good, but I've noticed a lot of situations I've gotten away a lot better with my wool blanket than I have a $180 sleeping bag. Now, I do recommend 100% wool when it comes to wool blankets. There's a lot of companies, a lot of brands. Just shop around, figure out what's right for you, but 100% wool is the way to go. With that, I also recommend always keeping a tarp. Now, I am 6'5", so I personally like a 10 by 10 tarp. That way I can wrap it underneath myself and on top of myself to make a little burrito. I can pitch a tent, a little improvised TP tent, an A-frame tent, if you will, to help me from rain, wind, anything that comes my way. You can get them for super cheap, super lightweight, easy to pack into a pack, and you have your entire sleep survival system. And you can go smaller than a 10 by 10 if you're really trying to save weight and everything, but a 10 for 10 has been the best solution I have found, and a lot of the time I will take the extra weight if I'm going for a prolonged stay with a wax canvas tarp, because it's a lot more durable and really blocks out that wind and water. But even your cheap blue tarp from Walmart is better than nothing. Next up on the list, you need a bag to carry everything at the end of the day. My go-to bag, if you're starting in the wilderness and you just need a bag and you're ready to spend the money, I cannot recommend any more the Dagon Fire wax canvas bag. This thing, I have a video. It's one of the first videos on my channel. I'm actually doing another video a year after, so check them out, see the review. This thing, for the money, it's like $100, maybe $120 tax and shipping and all that bullshit to get to your house. This bag is the way to go. I have not found a single bag that I have liked any more for the price point and what you get out of it. It is an awesome bag, and it's not just for the outdoors. I've used it as an everyday carry bag for a long time. I've used it for a range bag. This thing is so versatile. It is so slick looking. It is so comfortable that I cannot recommend any other bag over it, because it is so great at everything for $100. But I'm giving a bunch of budget options. If you don't have the money for that, something I'd recommend, little haversack. This is the Pathfinder's wax canvas haversack. I've kind of customized myself, but this is so great. The amount of stuff you can hold inside here. It's got a pocket on this front lip, a large pocket right there. It just drops down. It packs down to absolutely nothing. So I use this as a secondary bag inside my backpack. And I also use it as a sit pad or really whatever you want, but you can lay it out. It's really nice wax canvas. I think they go for like 20 to 30 bucks depending on where you find it and what deals are going on. Really great bag. Everybody has a backpack from school laying around or something. Throw all your gear in there. Use this for your foraging and your wood processing and your bushcraft kit when you're getting started. I cannot recommend that bag enough. It is absolutely wonderful. Now, that's my top 5, but we're going for a top 10 here. Really, those 5 things are what you need to get started. Now, you're going to need a tent if you're going to be starting to go on night trips and everything. You're going to need to upgrade your bag if you're going out for prolonged periods and stays. A really great option I've found. I've tried a bunch of different mess kits, a bunch of different cook systems when I'm out in the mountains, and I keep going back to this little guy, right? Comes in this little mesh bag. The strings broke, so I just replaced it with some paracord. But this little mess kit right here, I've cooked so many meals on. I've boiled so much water in. It's held up great. It comes with your little cup and your handles. It comes with your pocket jet and your jet holding thing. It folds out and holds your jet. It's got this really nice cup that you can boil your water in, cook your food in, all of that. And it'll hold one of these MSR gases in case you're out in a place that you can't have an open flame or fire. It's really easy to cook. I've even found myself a couple of times on a job site where I just wanted a cup of noodles. I hurry and spark this up, boil some water, cook some noodles right off the back of my truck. And it all packs down into this nice little bag right here. It's really not that heavy. It's not that much weight. And if you pair that with a good water filter and water bottle, I mean, there's nothing else that you will need in a cooking, water processing fashion. You have that entirely covered. Now, the next thing I would recommend, if you've got a knife, but you can't process or baton a lot of wood with this cheap knife, so I'd recommend you spend the money, get a really nice bushcraft knife. I have a bunch of videos on knives. Check them out, see what's right for you. Really recommend that. But the further you get into this, you're going to realize you need an axe. Now, there's a video I just did on the channel about axes. Go check it out. I have a budget option. I have an expensive option. You're going to need an axe. I highly recommend getting an axe. The next piece of gear, people are going to call me crazy. They're going to say I'm dumb, but you need a bandana. I every day carry a bandana in my pocket. There is a million different reasons to carry this, from, you forget your toilet paper and you need something to use and you don't want to use your socks because they're $40 merino wool socks. Well, you got a bandana. Your nose is runny, you're out in public, you use the bandana, it takes care of you. You can filter through water. You can use it to clean yourself up. You can use it as an improvised tourniquet if you know how to. There's a lot of different instances that it's super crucial to have a bandana. I highly recommend everybody get one. And Wazoo Gear, I actually don't have one here with me, but Wazoo Gear makes some really cool bandanas that have pictures of wild edibles and plants that you can eat and plants you should stay away from. And they also have a tracks one if you're tracking animals. Really cool. I highly recommend always having a bandana on you. Next, go to in the mountains. You gotta have a medical kit. If you are going out into the mountains and you don't bring any medical, I think you're stupid. I truly do. Sorry to hurt your feelings, but it is idiotic to go without any medical. Now, I do recommend you get trained on how to use the medical gear you're going to carry, especially if you're using clot sponges and tourniquets and sutures and things like that. Go get the training on it. It's really easy. It's really cheap. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of free courses. Go out and do it. I always carry medical in my everyday carry bag, in my vehicles, on my person. I always have a form of medical, because if you're in a situation, especially if you have kids or other people with you, they might not be carrying medical and you might have to save their life. It is crucial that you have the gear to save your own life when you're out in the mountains, especially if you go out alone like I do, or if you're bringing people with that you can help and save their lives. And it doesn't even have to be that serious. The amount of times I've had somebody accidentally cut themselves or get stung by a bee or bitten by some animal, or they've brushed up with poison oak or stinging nettle, or they burn themselves on a twig or a pot. The amount of times I've pulled out little things out of my medical kit to help people out, it would surprise you. It's super useful. I think everybody should have them. Don't just go buy some Walmart $15 medical pack. I mean, you can, but make sure you know every single piece that's inside there. Make sure you're carrying Benadryl in there and Advil and Tylenol, and you set it up yourself. These little red waterproof bags are super cheap. You can throw all your medical gear in there. I have a big cross piece of tape, but this is very easy. If I'm incapacitated or I can't get to my bag or to my machine, I can tell them, grab the big red medical bag. Grab the red bag. This is the only red bag I keep in my bag. This is the only red bag I keep in my truck. Grab the red bag. Everybody knows what the red with the cross means. And if they don't, it's pretty easy to say, grab the red bag, and they know which one to grab. Medical is extremely important when you're going out into the woods. You need to go out there with medical. Expect to save yourself. In a real life survival situation, knowledge is crucial. That is the number one thing you need to have when you're out in the mountains and out adventuring in general. But with that knowledge, you also need the tools to enact upon that. Guys, I know it's a little more of a serious video. It's something very close to my heart. I really want people to go out there, get lost, find themselves. I want everybody out in the mountains. I want everybody adventuring. I want everybody to go out, and I want this to be accessible to everybody. Yes, there is a little bit of a barrier to entry, but like I've shown in this video, it's not by much. For $100, you could probably get everything I've showed you in this video on the cheaper side, and you could probably find some deals to make it even less than that. Get out in the mountains. Make sure you can provide for yourself, your family, strangers, friends, everybody. Be prepared. Be knowledgeable. I love you. Go get lost. See you next time.